Hi, you're with Jules Knight from Nasco Bay Speed Shop. We're doing our series talking about accessories, FJ Holden JIVE talking, and I wanted to stick with a theme from the last clip that we did, which was the outside. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of things that I've come across and been able to do. So firstly, one of the rare accessories you'll see on a FJ Holden is one of these. It's a spear, a dart, whatever you want to call them. They were quite readily seen. Now you'll see that there's a short and a long side. So this one will be a right hand. It's more suited to go on the right hand, and the reverse is on the left hand side, which is a short top and a long bottom. Look, these are really hard to come across. They look really nice on a vehicle. Now, to give you a bit of an idea first, for the people viewing, you've got your headlight. Now, I've just grabbed one off the shelf, nothing flash, and then that would fit into the guard, and then the spear would be literally alongside. So there's plenty of photos on the net of cars with spears. I actually brought my ute out without them to start with, even like I had a pair, and then I had them re-chromed and put on for the second nationals. So first nationals I didn't have them on, second nationals I did, and I'm really pleased that I did put them on. You'll see it's a case of there's three cast bolts that are actually in the spear themselves. Now what I did to fit them is I made a template, like a cardboard template out of a manila folder, and I made it the exact shape of this, and then I got it right, and also I incorporated with a punch the holes, so I knew exactly how big the holes need to be to fit those bolts through, and then I got it right on the guard, and once it was right on the guard, it was a matter of then being able to mark the holes, and then perfect straight on. You're able to fit the spear. Now, there'd obviously be a little bit of a gap that would be in here, so you could use caulking compound to sort of just fill any gaps or anything like that, just to sort of seal it up so that no water gets in between the actual spear and the panel. Just a thin film would actually do the job, and it would look really smart on your car. As mentioned before, when they do come up, I've seen them as dear as poison. You sort of can't buy them for the love of money, and when they do, people want astronomical amounts of money for them. With that in mind, I had this one for probably about 20 years, and I came across at a swap meet one that had been broken, but it was broken just after the bolt. And when I was working for the gas company, it just so happened I was, friends with the welding people there, and they just said, "Oh, look, bring it in. We'll have a look at it for you." So I brought it into the master welder, and being a clever fellow, he was able to melt down brass fittings, believe it or not, and he literally remade that point of the spear from the good side of the bolt onwards, just to sort of get it right. So when I trotted the FJ panel wagon out last year for its first show, still on the car trailer, I left it unchromed, still on the car, and people would say, "Oh, why isn't that chromed? How come that's a different colour metal to all the other bits and pieces are on?" So it was a good conversation piece. And in my case, because the car isn't showroom condition yet, it's got plenty of patina. It needs inner and outer sills, so that's all happening as soon as I finish the acquisition stage that I'm in, and a few other bits and pieces happen. Well, we'll be actually on to that, but for the moment we're enjoying it, and we're just enjoying also getting organised with a lot of bits and pieces for the car. Now, one of the other accessories that you could get, and it's listed in the Master Parts catalogue, is it's a Lucas, and it's got a little picture. It's got Lucas written on it. the filler battery automatic. Must be pretty flash for 1950s. Well, here's this is the one off my shelf. It obviously needs to go through the dishwasher, but that's beside the point. So I'll have that with my other bits and pieces for regular maintenance for the battery and things like that. But if you see them on a trading website or a swap meet and things like that, well, they actually are something that's associated with your Holden. They're definitely in the book, and they've got Lucas written on them. I was only too pleased to get this. It had started to be worn off from actually being used all the time. I don't know the history of the item, and I probably never will. But be that as it may, it's the real McCoy, and it's a good thing to have. So I'm just tickled pink that I've got it. Now, in keeping with the outside of the car, I've got a two-door panel wagon, which is the FJ Holden of the day, converted to the station wagon before they brought out the FE and FCs and so on. So what my stoplight would be a Stokes light, because mine's a 56. So that's the stop and tail light for it, rather than the D light. Sometimes you see D lights put on them. D lights came with the FX utility, the 50 model, and some of the earlier FJs. You also see them on other models of FJ Holdens that were a little bit later. Who knows what's happened from brand new until now? There might have been a tap in the back. There could have been anything that's occurred. However, I saw this on a trading website, or I should really say one very, very similar to it, and the price that the people wanted was $1,000 for a brand new old stock one, and I just thought, well, I'll never be paying that type of money for it, and so I came across this, but it wasn't of this condition. I was actually looking at something like that, and that. And it was a matter of buying things when you find them. You look at shows like American Pickers, and they will talk about the best time to buy something is when you see it. So what I did with this was I was able to grab it because I knew how rare they were, and mine, when I took delivery of it, the people had put a D light on it, and it was just wrong. It should never have had a D light, and over time, very, very difficult to say what's occurred with that car, and I would say that in talking with the original owners and so on, it's sort of been mum's taxi, and the Turnbulls had it as a bit of a soccer mum's car, and Gillian would look after the kids using that, and Mark's told me that when I've been down to see them to talk about their car. So it's interesting to note that you never fully know what's actually happened, but with the motor car. But it does have a D light on it when I picked it up. So what I've done is I noted they come in three pieces. So they've got a base, the light themselves, and a piece of chrome. Now they're all functional. The originals will come with bolts already welded on them here and here. So I've drilled them out so I can actually put fasteners on there, but I've also added, importantly, listening to my dad telling me you've got to have a grumman on anything that there's a hole and a wire's going through. So I've got that clearly put in place here. Now they came out in black on the back. Now I would have thought that the inside would be silver. However, my thoughts were wrong. I went down to my buddy's place, and they had one that we had a look at, and it's actually white inside, and that's from the reflective purposes of the light. I thought silver, but I was wrong. So I bought, I think it was like that, and that like that, and this was pretty crusty, and I either had that or I saw it, so I probably paid minimal for this, $20 at most, if not less. This was probably $10, and then I saw on one of the trading websites a fella down the Gold Coast was was making these. So obviously, when you look at television shows like American Restoration, you can see how they'll take something and make a mold of it, and then pour acrylic inside and make a brand new one. Well, this fellow had made the brand new one, so I then had the 3 pieces that you needed together plus the gasket, and then I just did the painting up, and very simple. I was able to get the restored article. But more importantly on this one, it's a 2-piece operation, because at the side of it, you'll see that's actually clear. Now, the reason it's clear is you'll have the stop light one side. So, stop light one side and tail light the other side. And the tail light, of course, is actually going to, when it sits on the right-hand side of the car, it's going to illuminate from the driver's side. It's going to illuminate the number plate, so that'll just be keeping everything legal. So, look, that just gives you a quick hit of a few little bits and pieces for your FJ. We've talked about the spears, we've talked about the Lucas battery filler, and we've talked about the good old-fashioned Stokes light. That's the real article to actually have for your FJ Holden. So I'd love you to press like if you enjoyed the clip. While we're still continuing the series about talking with Nasco Bay Speed Shop about the FJ Holden's JIVE talking. So press the like, press the subscribe, and when we've got some new clips, it'll be able to go straight to your PC. So thank you. You have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.